Now, for the man of the hour, we've got Aaron Stiles, who's coming up to talk about independent game developing. And a big round of applause, everybody.
Look at a photo. Yeah. Okay, so if we can put the laptop on, it'd be good. Pop the laptop on up here. Okay, so yep, as I said before, my name's Aaron Stiles. I'm an independent game developer. I'll just go straight into the talk because I cover that in the first slide. So yes, I've been modding games for well over 10 years, since I was about the age of most of you guys here, just playing around with games in my own leisure time after school. There was nothing else to do. I was living in a fairly small country town, so that's what I did. That's how I got started wanting to make games. I've played around with pretty much nearly any game you can think of since that time, just seeing how it can be modified and expanded on. Then after that, a couple of years ago, I went to Victoria University's Advanced Diploma in Game Development, graduated that top of the class. That was a really good course. It was sort of a wide what you can do in the games. It had a bit of programming, had a bit of art, had a bit of design. So yeah, after that, I worked at Infinite Interactive. They made Puzzle Quest, if any of you guys know that. I worked on Puzzle Quest Galactrix and 2 other games they made at the same time. And now with Puzzle Quest 2 out, unfortunately I didn't work on that, but I've heard it's really good. So currently I'm studying here at Monash, doing the Bachelor of Information Technology and Systems, obviously doing the game major because I'm very much into making games. It's a pretty good course so far, though I've only done my first semester and the exams were harsh. And I've been making Flash prototypes, just playing around with Flash and figuring out how to make better games. So I'm here to do a sort of dissection on Shmup, which is a game that I made last year, presented here last year as well. It's a side-scrolling shooter, hence it's Shmup. That's why it's called that. I couldn't figure out a better name because I'm not that creative with names. I did do a competition last year for somebody to actually win a copy of the game to provide a better name, and no one did. So it's made in XNA for the PC. I have got an Xbox version that's running, and you guys will be able to play a little bit later in this talk. XNA is a fairly easy framework to work with, but I'll cover that a little bit later again. So it was about a 5-month project. So it took about 5 months to do, and I pretty much did everything except for the music. So all the design, all the programming, all the art. Not that there's much art in it. And so it had some great reviews. Unfortunately, that only came from 2 blogs, 2 review websites, and a Russian gaming magazine. So what went right? I was working with XNA, which is programming in a language called C#, which is a fairly easy language to work with, and in my Victoria University course I actually learned how to program in C#, building on top of other stuff that I'd learned by doing the modding. What else? So because I'm not that good of an artist, I made a fairly simple art style, which, as I said, you'll be playing it, so you'll be able to have a look at it. It's basically just using some rendering techniques that normal games use and just layering them so it looks a bit unique. I did a lot of rapid prototyping on the game just to try and get the core of the game working properly and feeling really good. It went through about 50 different iterations of the core game before I finally settled on what you would see now in the game. And lots of play testing, sort of keys into the rapid prototyping, just playing the game constantly, handing it off to friends, family, whoever else, and just getting their feedback and on how to make the game better. What went wrong? Now, anybody who was here last year, I had a couple of awesome pitches. Unfortunately, because of exams and other things, I didn't have enough time to get around, so that's the only one. Found that last night. So it was a solo project. I was the only person on it. That means that during the lull of the middle of development, I didn't have much drive to actually get the game finished and spend a lot of time while looking at pictures like this on the internet rather than actually making the game and just posting on forums and all that and just being very, very lazy. So that's why this 5-month project actually took about 10 months to make, and I feel that is something that's really bad and I should have just got done in 5 then gone on to another project. I had a reliance on the community. Back then I didn't feel that confident in my programming skills. So the XNA has a huge community that have lots of helpful people and can give you a lot of code that you can use. So I had a reliance on the code the community gave for various things like allowing localization, which means different languages in different areas, and some other things. So quite often what would happen is that I'd figure out I need something, go onto the internet to try and find that code, find something, then it wouldn't work at one point, and I didn't know how it works because I just didn't look into the code, I just plugged and played it. And then the problem would arise, and I wouldn't know how to fix it, so I'd need to go searching for another thing, and then that just rolled on. Another part of the reason why it took 10 months when it was really only about a 5-month project. I was also a single playtester on it for most of the project. I didn't really hand off to friends and family until right near the end, so it got really tied to how I wanted the game to be played, and then when I handed off to other people, they really, sometimes they didn't get what to do and how to do it, but it was kind of really too late to fix up a couple of things by then. So my draw from that is that when you're making a game, just get everybody to play it as soon as possible, and don't really care what they think about the art or whatever. Just get them to play it, and then you will get a better game from that. And then finally, the game actually didn't sell that well, even from the great reviews. That's because I did very little marketing. About the only marketing I did was a press release the day it was released, and that's pretty much it. So got on some news sites like Blues News and Rock Paper Shotgun, and then a couple of review sites, and as I said, the Russian Gaming Magazine, who I can't actually pronounce the name of the magazine, let alone read the actual review, because it's all in Cyrillic. So, now we go on to the actual game. So if we can switch it over to 360. If it's working, of course it isn't, because unfortunately the wireless here is a little bit dodgy. So I'm actually going to get some of you guys to have a go of the game while I take some questions and answers. And then after we've had a couple of question and answer time, I've got some sort of design challenges for you guys to participate in. Because yes, I don't want to stand up here talking all the time and get you guys to do some of the work. If this works. Okay. Try one more time. If this doesn't work, then I'll just take a couple of questions and then we'll move on to the design challenges. So, yeah, if this doesn't work, then I might get it set up somewhere after this and during the play sessions, and you guys can have a go today. Just come up and have a go of it. Okay, it looks like that isn't working, so does anybody have any questions, and do we have a roving mic? Oh no, it's working. Yeah, my game works. Okay, well we're going to have Mark actually have a little go first, because I don't think he's really played it that much.
Can you explain that you've got a normal Xbox 360?
Okay.
Why?
Okay, so this is a normal Xbox 360. If you've got a normal Xbox 360 and you're a student, you can sign up for a student account with this XNA Creators Club thing, and you can then code a game in XNA and push it out to a normal 360 without having to pay any money. It's a really good setup. And I'll actually get Mark to start playing it now. And if we've got a roving mic, any questions about shmup? Yeah? Okay, well I'm going to cover that a bit later, but I've just put it up for sale. So it's a PC game only. I don't actually have an Xbox Live indie game version available, which you guys wouldn't be able to buy anyway because it's not available in Australia. But the PC version right now is $1.49 for the next 3 days. Then it'll go back up to its normal new price of $3.99. That's American, so it's a little bit more, but yeah, $1.49. And the version you'll get actually looks a little bit different to this because I was just playing around with it last night rather than preparing my speech properly. Any other questions? And do we have the sound for the game? Yep. Any other questions? Okay, there's a guy up next to Mark in a beanie. Now there is sound and music as well. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's not working. I think because I've got the roving mic.
How do you buy it?
Just go to my website. I'll have the link up right at the end of the talk, or come up and see me and I'll give you a business card, although I don't have too many of them, unfortunately. Shoot all of them shapes. So I've got, more questions?
Does it take any special skills to be a games programmer?
A drive to want to learn how to make to program and to make games. So as I said, when I was living in the country, I didn't have anything else to do. I had my computer and I had, slow internet that was enough to learn. And I just hey, I like playing games. I have ideas on how I can make some games better, so why not make games? And so sat down